Hello, my name is Michael Fant, and I'd like to introduce you to a product I've developed. This is a tool that is designed to help in installing landscape staples. There are a couple of different types of staples. There's the little flimsy one that you can get at most hardware stores and home improvement stores, but there's also the heavy-duty 6-inch staple that I have found on the internet, and I much prefer this staple. It does a much better job of securing your product. Now my tool will accommodate either one of these, but I much prefer this one. A lot of times in the summer, especially where the ground is hard, it's difficult to get these staples into the ground. You try to do it with your foot or a hammer or some other method, and it's very difficult when the ground is rather hard. So I've developed a tool that will assist and make the task much easier. I have two versions of my product. One I call the mini version, and the other I call the XL version, and they both work the same. It's just that the XL version is extra long so that it can be used from the standing position. Now, I'll show you some of the features of this tool. This is the mini model. Comes in two pieces. I call this the driver, and I call this the housing. Now, the driver goes inside the housing. There's a foot in there to insert the staple into. The way it works is you push down on the housing, flush with the ground, and then you push the staple in. And when you push the staple in, it pushes it all the way down except the portion that is inserted into the foot. So to complete the insertion of the staple, you lift this up, turn it 1/4 turn in either direction, and then complete the insertion. Now if you're working in hard soil and you can't push that staple in, the ground being too hard, well, you can tap this with a hammer or mallet and drive it in. Works very well. I also found that when you walk with this, and it's easy for this to fall out on the ground and you're having to continually pick it up. So I have attached rubber bands to the unit to keep the pieces together to solve that problem, and they don't interfere with the working of the tool, so you can leave the rubber bands on all the time. Now I want to demonstrate these grooves. They are made for when you are installing staples over irrigation tubing. You don't want to go flush with the ground and compress the tubing. What you want to do is have the tubing go in here, and when you push down, you don't want to compress the tubing. So I have a little gadget that you attach here called a spacer. I call it a spacer. You put it on here when you're doing the tubing. You snap it on. That stops the staple at this point and doesn't compress the tubing. If you're doing a job where you want the staple to go flush with the ground, you simply snap this back off. You can snap it off, or you can take the driver out and put it on or take it off. Either way. This is the XL model. It works the same as the mini model, except it's longer, and you can operate it from the standing position. Now, you insert the staple, and in this case, if we're doing it over tubing, we want to line the staple up with the tubing, then push down on the housing and drive the staple in. If the ground is extra hard, you can pound this with a mallet or a hammer and push it in, and you push down, and then you lift up a few inches and turn it 1/4 turn in either direction and complete the insertion. Now, if the ground is hard, you can use a mallet or a hammer, or you can just simply raise it up and pound it. And it goes all the way down, but since I have the spacer installed, the staple will stop short and not compress the tubing. Now, if I want to go flush with the ground, like when Lanscape fabric, I take the spacer off, and then it will go completely flush with the ground. Down, down, up, turn 1/4, and complete the insertion. There it is, all the way down. Now, the ground here is soft, so it makes an easier job, but in the summer and dry weather, and the ground is much harder, so the tool really is helpful. These will be available on eBay, searching for Lanscape Staple Multi-Driver, hyphenated, multi-driver, and Craigslist, Greenville, South Carolina. If you have questions or you want to order one of these, call me at 864-441-2669. Thank you for watching.